California sales tax. So fun. I had to suffer through this whole process and learn how to do it, so I'm going to teach you what I learned so you don't have to suffer like I did. Fair? Cool. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything I know about California sales tax. How to do your filings, how to pay it, what to look out for, understanding economic nexuses, etc. So let's get started. I'm going to be using two websites here. On the left, you'll see the CDTFA. California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. On the right, you're going to see TaxJar. TaxJar is how I record all of my transactions and pull them out of Shopify so they're organized and I'm able to do this. If you just have a Shopify list, you can get this done. TaxJar is not mandatory for this. If you need a few recommendations of places or people to use, check the description. Otherwise, I'm going to teach you how to do this on your own, so let's get started. The first thing we have to do is log in to the CDTFA. If you haven't already registered for a California reseller's permit, you need to do that, and you can do that here. But I've already done that, so I'm going to hit login. That's what the reseller's permit is all about, by the way. It's registering so that you can pay and file your sales tax in California. Now, California collects sales tax on a yearly basis. We don't have to submit and file our sales tax returns monthly like almost every other state. California does it on a fiscal yearly basis from July to July. This is my dashboard. We are going to click on sales and use tax right down here. And then we are going to file our return for the 30th of June 2023. You can see the filing date is the 31st of July. So if you file later than that date, you're gonna owe late fees. So make sure you file your sales tax for California every July. Just put it on your calendar. Just do that. All right. So let's click on this one right here. And you'll see that we have a couple options, but there's a big red question mark right here. So we're just going to go ahead and click that and file a return for the 30th of June, 2023. Now it says the 30th of June, but it means for the whole year. This is where we start filling in our information. But in order to fill in the information, we need to get the information from somewhere. So unless you have a bookkeeper or someone who can go into your store and pull all of your transactions out, I highly recommend using a service like TaxJar. I'll leave a link below if you want to try them. Now we need to log into TaxJar so I can show you what I'm talking about. These are the states I'm auto-filing in because I have an economic nexus there, but we're going to focus on California for now. Few things to know before we get started. Sales tax is handled a little bit differently with each state. For example, we talked about California, it was every year you file, but for other states, you might have to file monthly, and that means you need to submit transaction data for the county and or the city or unincorporated areas of that state every single month. That's a pain in the butt. It really is. That's why we use software and professionals to help us out, because this activity of paying our taxes, it can't really be leveraged into a revenue generating activity. There's no opportunity here. It's just basic compliance stuff, and compliance stuff can be a pain, and you want to get through compliance stuff as quickly as possible because it doesn't have a benefit for your business. That said, TaxJar has pulled all of the data from my Shopify store into this nice, neat little report. I set the filing period on annual because that's how we're set up in the CDTFA. If I want a closer look, which I do, I will click on my Schedule B right here, and this will show you all of the different counties, how much you did in sales in that county, how much is subject to sales tax, and what the taxes due are for each county specifically. If you want a district breakdown, you can do that as well. I'm going to stick with the county breakdown. We're just going to go in order here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see what I'm saying? There's little numbers associated with it. Now, most of you watching this video are probably in California, but if you're not, it's because you've triggered an economic nexus in California and you need to pay a sales tax because of that. What's an economic nexus? An economic nexus is a place where you've triggered sales tax. You can see here that I've just recently triggered economic nexuses in Georgia, Illinois, Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio, and soon to be Minnesota. But what does that mean? These states want sales tax from me because I've either reached $100,000 in total sales for the year or more than 200 total sales for the year. If you meet any one of these criteria, you have to go register in that state and you have to begin paying them what they are owed every single month. This is why we like to use professionals that are as affordable as possible, because compliance is a pain in the butt sometimes. That's how economic nexuses work. If you trigger an economic nexus, make sure you are collecting sales tax from your customers on Shopify so that you have enough money to pay for the taxes. Otherwise, it's going to come right out of your pocket, and that's not cool. For the accounting nerds out there, any sales tax you collect goes on your balance sheet as a liability that needs to be paid at the end of the year. It's not actual top line revenue, so if you can split that out, highly recommend it. Let's get back to California now that we've talked about economic nexus. All right, let's get started. The first line here, total sales, is your gross sales. That's the number that you'll want to put in. You don't want to put in the total subject to sales tax. We're going to do that later. The purchases subject to use tax, we're going to ignore because that's not me. And then any sales of business assets, we're not going to include either. This is straight e-commerce. Let's hit next. This is any sales made out of fairground. We're going to leave that at 0 and go to next. If you were looking at tax jar, this is marketplace sales right here. In this section, you're going to include any deductions or non-taxable sales. So if you look closely here, we have 1,032 from shipping, and then we have 168 from returned, and then 108 from presumed exempt. So we're going to input those 3 fields right here. They don't fit the top category, so we're going to do other non-taxable sales right here. So the first is going to be shipping, and description, shipping costs. And the non-taxable amount is going to be $1,032.00. The next one, we're going to hit other. We're going to type in returns, and we are going to look at our deductions, and is 168. Perfect. Another one, we're going to do other. This one's going to be presumed exempt. If you don't have tax jar, just leave this section blank and move on to the next one. 1,308. Okay, now it all matches. Let's go down here. We'll see here that we have $15,952 that needs to be reported below, which I will show you how to do. But what's important is you need to account for the transactions that happened in the unincorporated areas. That means any place in California that is not a city. And for that, you just need to pay the flat base rate of 7.25%. So the answer is yes, and we put it right here. And then we scroll to the bottom, and we put in this number, $2,516, which is this one right here. Not subject to district tax. District tax is the city. Everything is subject to state tax, but only certain transactions done in the state have an additional tax basis on top of them. So you'll see right here that this is the rate. So you're like, whoa, 0.5%? Or 5, yeah, whoa, 0.5%? Like, that's crazy. Only 0.5%? No, it's 0.5% on top of the 7.25. So this is the tax rate that they're charging on top of the tax rate that is just the base rate for the state. Now, what you'll do is you'll go ahead and you'll input everything, and I'll show you how to do all of this. And so we need to look at our district tax breakdown, Schedule A, and we need to begin filling in the information into each one of these. The taxable amount is the important one. If you haven't already filled it out, you need to do so here by creating a new drop down, choosing like Alameda County, for example, and then which one in here is it? 966. You can see it's turning red because it's already here. It's right here. So we don't need to add this new one. We can simply get rid of it. It will go away, and now we can adjust this one. So we're looking at Alameda County, taxable amount, Alameda County. This one, 966, not 971, is $376 right here. Copy? Tracking? So we're just going to go ahead and fill it out and leave the duplicates and type everything to make things easy so we don't have to search. This will make it a little bit faster instead of searching for it. So what you want to do is add the county and then click on the box next to it and do the city. And then we're going to click on that, and it will tell you whether it's duplicate or not. If it's not, great. If it is, that's okay. We'll just delete the duplicate with 0 on it. It's really reported. So there's $62 here that is over. And I cannot figure out for the life of me where this extra $62 is coming from. So I'm going to subtract it from the richest one, and we're going to figure this out. All right, Orange County, you got plenty. We're going to go ahead and subtract 62, and we're going to make this 10. Hey, look at that, it's 0. We fixed it. Okay, so really the math just needs to be dialed in here. So let's go ahead and hit next. Fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit next and pay it. So here's the tax due, $1,306. You hit next. You put in your first name, your last name, your phone number, the title, which is, I'll put CEO today. That's how I'm feeling. Am I a paid preparer? No. And I'm going to hit submit. This means that our filing is complete. Filing and paying are very different things. You must file. You must pay separately. So I'm going to go ahead here and click on make a payment, and I'm going to make a payment using the sales tax money that I have set aside from my business accounts. Now, when you're making a payment, you can pay with a credit card for a 2.3% fee, or you can pay now with checkings or savings. I always pay with the checking or savings. I have it set up for the sales tax account already in my bank account. And so what I'll do is I'll make a return payment. I'll do the payment date, the whole balance, payment amount, confirm the payment amount 1306, and then I will hit submit. Now, if you need to add a new bank account or a new way to pay, just click the new button here. But I already have mine set up through Firefighters First Credit Union. I'm just going to go ahead and make the payment and hit submit. You put in your password, boom, and now you're done. Let's view the printable PDF. Save this, and then I'm going to drop that over to my bookkeeper, and we're done. And that is how you file and pay your California sales tax while understanding nexuses and the implications that affect you. I hope that was helpful. I really like teaching this type of stuff, and if you're interested in learning from me and you like my style, I highly recommend checking out my accelerator. I teach people how to master their business setup all day long, and I absolutely love it. Or you can check out this video next because I think it will be just as helpful as this one.